Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Ameera, in case you don't know, and this is the Lapeef Network. Guys, before we begin, I understand I'm having a little bit of connection issues. My internet is not letting me be great today, so if it gets unbearable, please write me a message in the comments. I will be keeping an eye on the chat just to know how it's doing, and I know I'm going to be freezing a little bit, so we're just going to have to push through it, guys. So, welcome in, welcome in. I hope you all have had an awesome New Year's. Happy New Year's to everyone. This is my first time actually speaking with you guys since the beginning of 2021. So, we have a situation here. I have been looking through the news lately and I noticed that on the news, it's everywhere. They have been complaining about a tragedy that's been going on nationwide in this country. This tragedy reached its peak around 2019, and it has been going steady since then. This tragedy that I'm speaking about is a simp tragedy. We're having an overabundance of simpage going on in this country, and we just need to figure out how we can deal with this situation because, like I said, it reached its peak in 2019 and it has been going steady ever since. So, we're going to figure it out, guys. Together, we can get anything done. Don't worry about it. Hi, Eugene. Hi, SDC. Hi, D. Hi, JP. Hi, Chris. Hi, everyone. Hi, Rehana. Hi, Heed. Assalamu alaikum. Hi, Rodney. Hi, Wilson. Hey, JR and Stacy. Welcome in, everybody. Welcome in. Let's get straight to it. And like I said, if there's anything too unbearable with the internet, please give me a message and we'll try to figure out. Maybe we'll just have to go audio only. Sorry. All right, here we go. So the title here is "Do Not Call Her Beautiful." Do not call her beautiful. And there's a reason why I say this. The reason why I say this is because if you notice, a lot of women, especially women today, because of the tragedy, the epidemic that we have going on of simpage, because of that, women are overloaded with hi beautifuls, you're so pretty, you're so gorgeous, go queen, go. Women are overloaded with it, and it is not healthy. An overload of this kind of too many praises can do a lot of damage to women. It's like an overdose of heroin. Oh God, I shouldn't have said that. But it's like an overdose of sorts. And this is a problem. So we have to figure out a solution to it. The reason I say this is because women are numbed. We are numbed already by a man, especially outside, that you don't know, coming over and calling you beautiful, saying you're pretty, you're beautiful, yes, queen, you're gorgeous. Gorgeous used to mean something. It used to mean something special because not every woman is gorgeous. In fact, the majority of women are not gorgeous. You can say that they can be attractive, pretty, cute, but gorgeous? Gorgeous means top notch. You're gonna be on the model, the magazine, the everything. That's gorgeous. And most women aren't. So all I understand is a confidence booster, but one thing that I want you all to know is when you're doing that, the majority of the time, the woman already knows that she's attractive. The woman already knows that she's beautiful, or at least she feels that she's beautiful. She can already feel it and know it. And you confirming that, it can be a short confidence booster, but it does nothing in your favor. It does in favor for her. She gets a confidence boost, yes. But for you, it does nothing for you because no way will a woman who, let's say she wasn't even paying attention to you before and you come and call her beautiful, that is not really going to up your chances of actually her recognizing you as someone to flirt with or someone to like. I want to say the majority of women, if you don't ignore them, treat them kindly, treat them sweetly, but you don't call them beautiful, that will keep the woman, I want to say, more interested in you because maybe she's sitting there waiting for the day you're going to call her beautiful. Maybe she's waiting for you to say that. But then if you don't, it brings more, how can I say, it's more attractive to not go into that mode of praising a girl, praising a woman too much. So That's what I want to speak about. And another thing that I want to say, when it comes to treating a woman like a star, many men treat the woman like a star, like she's this beacon of light, this thing on the hill, the shining city on the hill, right? When you treat a woman like a star, she just might treat you like a fan. Do you know what I mean? You know what a fan is, right? You know what a groupie is? You treat a woman like a star, she might treat you like a fan. She might get overinflated and think, well, if I'm so good and he recognizes that I'm so good, that means I'm most likely above you. And you should be grateful that I am even in your presence. You should be grateful that I'm even paying attention to you. What do you think? So I've noticed this a lot, especially online. You see so many people, and that's why I say in 2019 there was the overabundance of sewage. When you see that, this is when I want to say is right before the pandemic, right before everyone was stuck in their houses. And when the pandemic came, it kind of forced people to pay attention to more things than just looks and beauty and Instagram. People actually had to focus on work and keeping their livelihood together and all of this. So I want to say it peaked in 2019. And that's when you saw that Instagram was at its height. Oh God, OnlyFans was at its height. All of these websites that have women giving you an image that's not really them. It's not them. You have body shaping technology in cameras. You have filters. You have makeup, loads of makeup. We have all of these things that create an image that is sometimes the furthest thing from the truth. A woman who wears makeup to enhance her own features, fine. But you have seen Instagram where women will go from one woman to looking like a completely different person, a different race, a different everything. You don't even know who the original person was anymore. You treat the woman like a star, she just might treat you like a fan. Because she's going to think, well, there must be a reason why he's so enamored by me. There must be something so great about me that makes them act this way, right? Have you all seen all of these women with these inflated egos, this inflated sense of being gorgeous, I'm this, I'm that. And when they're actually rated truthfully, if a woman is actually rated in the actual way that women are rated versus other women, they get a lower score than they think that they qualify for. And a lot of times we see that even on Kevin Samuel's show when Kevin Samuel's being an image consultant, he knows the specs of actual what is considered beauty, which is like symmetrical face, clear skin, low not low body weight, but and you fit and you have a nice skin, your skin is tight, you look clean, your face is clean. There's so many things that go into beauty, and there's actually a scientific or mathematical equation to this, and I'm sure Kevin Samuels knows about that. So when Kevin Samuels is rating a lot of women who have been called gorgeous all their lives, they've been called, beautiful queen, goddess, all of this, and then they get rated a 5 or a 6. It's a shocking thing. You're like, what? How can you? And then the woman doesn't take that as my actual rating. She says, oh, he is just trying to humble me. He's trying to insult me, to make me humble because he doesn't want me to be great. Or the other option is to say, well, what is your scale on? What's your scale like? Who on your scale is the best? Is it a white woman? Is it this kind of features or that kind of features? It's always something wrong with the system, something wrong with the grading, something wrong with what have you. But it can never be, maybe I am an actual 6, maybe I am a 5, and there's nothing wrong with that. You can really look pretty, and not to say that all women who are above a 7 are with rich men. There's so many that aren't, but I don't know. That's what I see in my head. I'm like, when I see being pushed. I see more damage being done than good. If we can't be honest with one another and just say, you're really cute, you're really cute, or don't say anything at all. Don't even mention the looks. You know she's beautiful. She knows she's beautiful. You don't need to say it. Just treat her good. And I think that she would actually look at you less like a fan and more like an actual man. She's going to see you on a level like he's a man. He's not looking at me like I'm so much better than him or I'm so goddess, everything. And he's what? A peasant? What is he? A peasant? No. It's very rare that we see a woman compliment a man in the same fashion. It's very rare that we see a woman get excited to go to a man and say, you know what? You are so handsome. How often do men get to experience that? How often do men have women do that? I mean, I'm curious to know, maybe when we open the lines, you guys tell me, how often do men get to hear, you're handsome, you look good, you're you look like a god. You know what I mean? Oh, she's the goddess. And then so what? He's a god or is he not? I don't know. So I don't know, you guys. You guys let me know. Guys, feel free to call in because I want to hear what you guys have to say about that. Do you guys think that men actually receive the same amount of compliments? Well, not the same amount because we all know that's not true. But do you think that men are often told that they are handsome or that they look good? Or guess what? Your clothes look really good. The way you put them together makes you look really nice and put together, well put together. Even that's a very small compliment just to say you know how to match clothes together. Oh, good, you know how to put colors together. Well, we know how to do that since kindergarten. But anyway, aside from that, there is an issue that I did find, and I want to bring it up with you right now. I'm opening it up on my phone because I want to read this comment out to you all and see what your opinion is on it. So me and Chantel Simone, shout out to Chantel Simone. She's a great girl, guys. Check out her channel. She has great content. She does many reactions, and she also speaks and makes short videos about relationships, love, and intimacy, everything. So me and her did a live stream, and on that live stream, she posted a piece of it, and she pinned one comment. This comment is from a man. He says, oh, let me tell you first what the video was about. So me and her were speaking about getting married young, that it's better to get married young. And I told Chantel that if you get married young, it's better because your husband wants your youth. Your husband wants your youth. Your husband, the best thing that a woman can give her husband is her youth. Give him your best years. Give him your prime years so that when you are 65 years old and he has to look at you with a cane and all of this, he can always know, like, I was with her since her prime. He's going to love you more at 65 if you're with him at 25. So this comment is responding to what I said regarding marrying young. Here it is. He said, get married in your mid-20s? Yeah, sure. You'll have children in your late 20s and early 30s. Then he's going to divorce you in your mid-30s, leaving you with the children and a child support check. You were so focused on being a wife and a mother that you didn't prepare for this probability, which is very high today. Now you are a divorced mother with far fewer options because of your weight gain, children, and lack of financial stability. You're now more likely to engage in survival skills and find a man that not have him find you because you are the one looking for the man. He has to become your financial plan, parenting plan, travel plan, and retirement plan. And then he also added a small PS at the end. He says, so be careful about telling women this narrative. In the end, there's a far more complex problem that none of you relationship content creators are addressing. None of you, with an exclamation point. Can you guys believe what he said? Let me address this just really quickly. He said, this man is going to divorce you in your mid-30s if you marry him in your early 20s because I guess I guess 10, 15 years is all that you need, right? When you get married. Everybody knows you get married only for 10, 15 years. I want to say something to you, sir. Regarding your comment about the man divorcing the woman in her mid-30s, did you know that women are the ones who initiate the majority of divorces? Did you know that 70% or more of divorces are initiated by women? Did you know that? So you telling women that the man is going to divorce you in your mid-30s is absurd, and you dare not give this information to people to try to discourage people from marrying young. This is your way of discouraging people by saying that they're going to get divorced in their mid-30s. Women are the ones who initiate the majority of divorces. Now, we could argue, yes, well, men are the ones forcing these women into divorce. They are standing their ground and not accepting being unhappy, and this is why they're getting divorced, because they refuse to be unhappy. Women have become, I want to say, they have become so intolerant of anything. Kevin Samuel says it best, that women have become so finicky, so sensitive, so, and just weak. We cannot take anything. If the man is not giving us enough attention, all of a sudden, okay, well, I have to divorce him because he's not giving me the attention that I feel like I deserve. Because when I was single, I was called gorgeous, beautiful, hey queen, all day, every day. But now that I'm married, if my husband goes 1 week without calling me a queen, well, I can just divorce and get better. I can go back to Instagram and get called beautiful and queen and all of this. I don't know. Tell me what you guys think about this. Guys, I see people in the studio. If you're in a studio, I need you to open your camera and wave before I let you on. Thank you. So anyone, guys, that's going to be the new rules, because we all know what happened and we are not having that happen again, because then someone will get hurt really, really bad. So, okay. St. Panderson, welcome in, welcome in. Oh, you're muted. You're muted.
Put my mic on. Good evening.
There
How
you
you
go.
doing?
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. Once again, struggling to look at the camera. Still can't figure that out.
Same here.
Um, Question I asked for whoever it is that's saying that why would you get married, give you good years, and then you're already thinking that the man's gonna leave you and run off and go get a younger one. So why get married to begin with? Two, if you do get married and you don't submit to your husband and stuff, that's why he ran off. He gained all this weight, that's why he ran off. Which men aren't running off, which is a lie that they're telling. But if
Right.
you don't get married and you're a woman, if you're a woman and you're not getting married, what are you doing? And if
What
you
are
get
you
divorced,
doing?
oh, go ahead.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. What are you doing with your life?
So 26 single, 28 single, 41 single. You're getting older, fatter, um, older and more fat. I'm just be real. They're getting fat, man.
You said
Let's
older
keep,
and
let's keep it
fatter.
real. They're getting old and they're getting fat. But um, if you're not getting married and you actually want to be in a relationship, then what are you doing? When you divorce your husband, you're telling the single men who are out there who are looking for wives, you're telling them, hey, I failed before. He also knows that you have an attorney on speed dial. You're willing to divorce because you've done it already. You had experience that. You
Wow.
already know the attorney.
Yeah.
You already done it and you feel comfortable about doing it.
Yeah.
That's kind of scary to a single man,
Yeah.
especially a single man of value who took 20 years to build himself up to something and has something to lose. It's scary. Hey, I've divorced already and I'll do it again if you don't give me what I want. That's not appealing. And you have another man's kids. If you spent 10 years with another man, you've been branded by that man.
True.
He's
True. You've
branded you.
been
You smell like
molded.
him.
You've been molded.
Yeah. And then somebody's supposed to take this on. You gave him your best years. I get the leftover years after you gained 46 pounds.
Oh my
Got
God.
2 kids running around here.
You're
I'm being
really
nice at 46 pounds.
you're really stuck on the weight.
I'm just saying. But I don't see women 26 come out here at 38 divorced and presenting a better product. I
Ooh.
haven't seen it. So the
Ooh.
man of value is like, well, shoot, why don't you go get another 26-year-old?
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna do it this.
Mm.
Then you're adding kids, and if they want to date outside the race, and you got kids of a certain race,
Oh no.
uh, yeah.
So wait, what do you think about, okay, so what do you think about the whole pandering, Mr. Simp Panderson? What do you
Ah,
think about the whole pandering and simpage that we have going on with the with
somebody
the
had posted.
calling
Yeah.
people beautiful, or not calling people, calling women beautiful all the time and calling them gorgeous when they might not be gorgeous, but you're just saying that.
I plead guilty. I mean, in my 20s, I was pre-simping. I won't say fully simping because I won't throwing money out there. I never would want to take a bunch of disrespect. But I have had my time wasted. I have sitting by the phone and I can't believe I've been there before. But I didn't know. Nobody told me. I mean, the default that's taught is, hey, be nice and win her over. And it's a scam. I had to find out the hard way.
Very much a scam,
But
just like your name, scam likely. It is a
yeah,
scam, very likely. It is a
they're
scam.
still selling it and it's a lie. But um, as far as calling her beautiful, she's beautiful, she knows. But what women have told me is telling a woman who's beautiful. A lot of them got pretty privilege. It's not really a compliment because they
Oh,
already knew.
wait, I think someone has their, is that you? Okay, I had to mute
Okay,
you,
I
Brian. I'm
think you
so
need it. Hey, what's good, Brian? Um,
sorry.
yeah, but if she's beautiful, she already knows. A lot of the women didn't even earn that beauty. It's a default. But women have told me that
Wait. What do you mean by that?
some of them have pretty privilege. They were born this way. All they have to do is maintain it. Where a man has to build his
Oh,
value from the ground up.
oh, you're saying earn their. Oh, I
Yeah,
see. I thought
just
you
like
meant
the
through
rest of.
makeup and surgery. That's what I thought you meant.
Oh no, that's the fake stuff.
Mm.
That's just like a man getting a man inheriting $350,000. It's different than from a man who built it from the ground up over
Well,
10, 15 years. Because there's a
that's
character
true.
that comes along with it.
Mm.
But all right, I'm losing my train of thought.
No,
Oh,
I also wanted to. No, I also wanted to ask you about. So we're talking about the simping and the pandering. When you
hmm
have, you notice the problem. You said that you're guilty of it as well. So
right.
what
I didn't know any better in my 20s.
can I give you guys, Brian and Mr. Panderson? I want to give you guys an example.
Hmm.
You all know
Right.
I'm married. My husband, I don't think he called me beautiful until I don't know how long, but in the beginning he never called me pretty, he never called me beautiful. He just he treated me well, and he let me know that he thought I was beautiful by bringing me flowers and doing things, but he never actually said it. Do you know what I mean? I never
Can
heard my husband actually say, "You're so beautiful, you're so gorgeous." He never did that.
I ask a question?
Mm.
When would he tell you're beautiful after you actually exemplified certain acts, like showing your femininity, actually showing your submission, meaning were you earning this versus was it handed to you on a silver platter? If you understand what I'm asking.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying, but I don't know if it was that because I've always been the same. I've always been who I am. And even after us being together and getting married, we got married in 5 weeks. So even after getting married, or 6 weeks, even after getting married, he still didn't call me beautiful or pretty. I mean, even when I know this is a little bit intimate, but even I'm wearing like dresses, my wedding dress, my everything, he never actually said that. He demonstrated that he thought I was beautiful in different ways by hugging me and being affectionate and all of this, but he never actually said it because I think he already knew, like, we have an understanding. You're pretty. Like, we understand you're pretty. I know you're pretty, you know you're pretty, so we don't need to say it. We just keep living our life and just keep going. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I see things differently. Maybe that's kind of cold, but it just it never was a thing. But I noticed that in America, you see it everywhere. You see people giving messages on Instagram. You're so beautiful. You're so gorgeous. You're so, and all of this is everywhere. I mean, even you go outside. I have people outside who will stop and say, "You're really pretty." I feel weird because I'm like, why are you saying that?
I'm gonna let Brian. I'm
Brian,
gonna let Brian speak.
yeah, Brian, look like you had something to say. Did you have something to say?
Oh, I did. Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, you felt weird because something weird was going on. It's everything we say, everything we do is expressing a thought that was already there before the mouth ever opened or before we took the step. And for us to walk up to somebody and do what we've been calling simping. Look at the first word in that moniker, in that acronym. It's a simpleton. And what's the simpleton do? He does things without thinking it through, just follows his impulses. He's a slave to his desires, to his passions. And go to the second part of that, it's selfishly driven. He's really not trying to look out for anyone's benefit but his own. And he's really not looking for his benefits. He's just looking for a temporary satisfaction of a passion that's driving him. And it's like scratching a mosquito bite and thinking it's going to stop itching after you scratch it. It's really never going to stop. It's never going to be satisfied. And that's what he's expressing when he walks up to somebody, and the men have been conditioned to do it in America. I'll talk about that in a second. To walk up to somebody he doesn't even know, hasn't said anything, he hasn't seen her in any context whatsoever, and just start lavishing verbal praise all over her, telling her how gorgeous she is.
It's strange. It is a strange behavior, and we don't see that often in different cultures, like more conservative cultures, whether it be the Asian culture or the Middle Eastern culture. We don't see that very often, because what is the point of telling her she's pretty? Like, why you need to say? The only people who do that is women. Like women, we do that to each other. We say, "Oh, you're so pretty," but it's a different feeling when a woman is saying that I'm pretty versus a man coming up to me and saying, "You're so gorgeous," or "You're so pretty," or "You're so beautiful." I'm okay. Why are you telling me?
Well, that's what happens when you kick God out of everything and we decide we want to do things our way. They kick God out of the schools and things like that. And so it affected how we did everything else. And so now people started approaching one another differently, and God's out of the picture. So they think, okay, what am I supposed to do now? Well, look at where we get our training from. For the last, I'd say, 50 to 60 years, the television has been such a big, huge influence. And then the movies come along, the columns, the books, and things like that. And I'm a musician, so I pay attention a lot to what the songs have been getting people to do. And they start singing along. Before you know it, they've been singing along so many times. Now it's in their heads and they're thinking about it. And so what do the songs tell us to go do? To go out and go tell a woman that she's just so wonderful. She's so beautiful. I can't live without you. Oh, baby, you're my everything. And so they think they're supposed to do that. And when they run up to a woman that's attractive to them, they don't know how else to approach her because it's not being taught.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
Yeah,
you should say that only to the appropriate woman, not
to the appropriate woman. Right. But we've been taught, we've been teaching both men and women that the character of a woman doesn't matter. If she looks good enough, she's supposed to be able to talk any old kind of way, and we're supposed to laugh it off. She's supposed to treat you any old kind of way, and you're supposed to shuck it off, and you're never supposed to, have any kind of limit on that, because she's beautiful. So if you want to keep her, you better let her treat you however she wants, and that's garbage. But that's what in the minds of the masses. So I'll stop there and see what you guys think about that.
Thank you so much, Brian. I appreciate that. Sorry. Thank you so much. I hate calling you that. Thank you for coming with Patty Anderson. Thank you. I got to get 2 more other people on. Thank you so much for your input.
Cool. That's cool. Have a good one. Happy
New Year. Okay. Brian, you're welcome to stay in the back if you want, and we'll come bring you back later if you, okay. Let's see. Let's bring in Rodney and Red Pill Hustle.
Hey.
Welcome.
Can you hear me okay?
Evening. Yep. Hi. Perfect. Good evening. So what do you guys have on the topic? What do you all think about the epidemic that we're facing in this country right now? Do you agree with what the news stations are saying, that this is a crazy epidemic that needs to be solved, that the peak of it was in 2019?
100%. But I'll let, it looks like Rodney wants to go, so I'll let him go first.
No, you go ahead, Red Pill. No worries. I'm really eager to listen.
Yeah, 100%. And the epidemic of simps was only, the height of it was 2019, because simps couldn't take their girls out to movies and dinners last year and 2020. So it would have kept climbing. So maybe as things open up. Sorry?
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, 100%. Because there's no, the manosphere is gaining steam and everything like that, but it didn't just like stop out of nowhere. Like the simping is definitely at an all-time high. And shaming men is at an all-time high for not wanting to come in and play stepdad and not for doing all the things that a man is supposed to do. You know, a real man would do this and that type
Oh
of
my
rhetoric.
God.
And you know, kind of like I think his name is Simp Panderson was saying, and Technological Chaos mentioned it in a comment. Bruno Mars' Grenade song. Man, I'm not gonna lie, man. I'm throwing myself under the bus. I used to love that song, man. Yeah. So definitely, like we're programmed from a young age. Like boys are taught you have to treat a girl like this, you have to take her out, you have to do this and that and the third. And I think girls are never taught to appreciate or value men in any way like we are to them.
That's a great input. Thank you. What about you, Mr. Circle?
Mr. Circle.
Ah.
You're awesome, man. You're awesome.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
It's all good. I've been listening to this conversation and several other conversations concerning simps is a brand new word for me. And as I've listened to the conversation, I've realized that I have definitely been in that camp most of my life. Never got into the situations that a lot of the gentlemen have spoken about due to a long, boring story that's not interesting to tell. But the idea that the woman is the prize, the woman is the everything, the woman is the goal, was definitely taught to me thoroughly through entertainment, through the schools, and through my own mother. And if it wasn't for the conversations I've listened to with Kevin Samuels, mediocre tutorials and reviews, Lapeef Network, your channel, I was really surprised to find you here as I came across your channel back in my political studies. Exiled Lioness, I believed you called yourself at that time.
I still have my channel, yeah. Thank you.
And I think the thing is, like, anyways, it was very fascinating to hear your conversation, and you said something that really blew me away way back then, and that was that, what was it? Women shouldn't have
The right to vote.
the right to vote. And I so badly wanted to have a conversation with you on that very topic back then.
Well,
I was
many
very
do.
interested in exploring that. Nonetheless, should a man tell a woman she is beautiful? Is that something that a man should do? And I noticed you had three different choices up there. A wife. What was the other two?
Oh, if she looks good, or if she's a wife, or never.
And so I was listening to you about your husband, and again, I find your situation very fascinating as it's unusual in North America. As I've been learning, I think that, yeah, it should only be between a husband and wife. That sounds, as I've been learning and listening, that's an intimate conversation to be having. And when you go to a stranger, somebody you don't know, all we're doing is trying to flatter the girl to get her to feel good, to get something from her.
Yeah.
It's not about... You said something about the dating culture and how it is not healthy.
Mm-hmm.
And that the non-dating culture, where a man is only seeking to find a wife, if you are trying to find a wife, what are you looking for? Good looks or good person?
Mm.
If you're looking for good person, why would you describe her looks to flatter her? What you're going to attract then is her looks, and you're not going to attract a woman. And as I listen to the stories, the horror stories that gentlemen have been experiencing, especially within the Black community, is unfortunate. As right now, I have been studying within that culture, because that is where the conversations are being had that are magnifying the modern dating culture.
Well,
And I was
yeah,
about to say,
that is true.
the reason
Yeah.
why I was about to say that is it sounded, and I corrected myself, is I don't want it to sound like the like I'm criticizing that culture that I'm not a part of, but I'm learning, and it's sad what's happening.
Mm.
and I'm about to probably talk myself into a hole, but
No,
the
it's okay. I wanna get Red Pill Hustle's viewpoint on the other portion of this as well. Red Pill Hustle is. I'm gonna ask you too, Rodney, in a second, about this question. Did you guys hear the comment that I read out to you? Did you guys hear it?
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't.
Okay, I'm going to read it really quickly because I want everyone that's here now to know what I'm talking about, and I want you all to give me your opinion on this. This comment was in regard to me saying that women should get married young to give their husband their youth, because a man, your husband wants your youth. He doesn't want you, he doesn't want just the last part of you. He wants to see you grow into your old age. He will love you more at 65 if you were with him since 25. Now, this person named, I'm not going to say the name, I guess it's not right, but he responded to me. Now, this is a man, mind you. He said, get married in your mid 20s, you'll have children in your late 20s and early 30s, and then he's going to divorce you in your mid 30s, leaving you with the children and a child support check. You're so focused on being a wife and a mother that you didn't prepare for this probability, which is very high today. He says also, oh, P.S. So be careful about telling women this narrative. In the end, there's far more complex problems that none of you relationship content creators are addressing. None of you. Exclamation mark at the end, mind you. Exclamation mark at the end.
So in regards to that comment, I don't know what he could possibly be talking about as far as like there's bigger problems. I think as far, and again, like if we're talking like Black manosphere, I mean, we highlight pretty much like all the major issues. I don't know what he could be referring to. He sounds very feminine. If I had to guess, I'd say he's probably raised by a single mom because he's very emotional and he's not talking about things that make sense. I'll say it for you. Listen, he's talking about like a woman. He's talking like that's very likely to happen. And he might have maybe had like anecdotal experience with his mom or maybe like a woman in his life that he cares deeply about. But that's absolutely not the case. If you just go outside and look, that's absolutely not the case for most people. So I don't know what he's talking about. Definitely white knight simp for sure.
Yeah, okay, I'll give my opinion after Rodney, and then Eugene, I want to have you come in as well. So, okay, Rodney, what do you think about that?
So the first part, if I'm understanding correctly, the idea of that post was a woman should get married to a man when she is young, because a man desires her youth.
Correct.
And then have your life. And all of a sudden, when that lady is now 65, she has a man that has been dedicated to her for decades, and he's not about to leave her.
Correct.
However, this other gentleman, he writes in and he's like, no. You should instead party in your young years. Go have your fun. Then when you are mature and experienced, we'll put it politically correct, then go and try and find somebody to settle down with. Because if you go with someone young, obviously that guy is going to dump you later on.
In your mid 30s, he says.
In your mid 30s. And so all of a sudden, as I thought about that, I thought to myself, the first part is absolutely true. A man desires the youth, the beauty, all that is desirable with young women.
The energy, honestly, there's life in a young person. Like younger people tend to have more hope.
There really is. Yeah. The cooperativeness, the respectful cooperativeness, all that stuff is there.
I see Eugene is moving around in his chair on this one. I'm gonna let you in, Eugene.
If the lady, if the man is vetting the woman, and if the lady is vetting the men, and you said something previously in other broadcasts I thought was so valuable, and that is this: we should not, especially ladies, should not be trying to vet men by themselves, for they're going to be inside their emotions and thinking idealistically or pessimistically. They'll constantly be looking at a man in a really negative or overly positive light. And so for them to be trying to decide for themselves, yeah, they get into really bad situations. But you talked about in your culture where if a man wants to, if he's going to do things properly, if he wants to be involved with a lady, he's going to go through her family. And all of a sudden there's going to be people that are not going to be emotionally invested in and wanting that, whatever that man has. They're going to look at that man in a realistic and literal way. And suddenly they're like, you know what? this is a good man. She can step into that and give herself to that man completely, and he to her. So there you go.
So, well, really quickly, because I want Eugene to chime in on this, because Eugene, he couldn't stay still in his chair when you guys were talking. He was like, "Let me in, let me in." I'm really interested to hear what Eugene has to say. But really quickly, what I responded to that person, that man, he was mentioning how men are going to leave the woman in her mid-30s. My response to him was, this is absurd speaking, and you dare not speak without knowing actual facts, because the truth is that women are the ones divorcing the men, not men divorcing the women in the mid-30s. Women are the ones who are initiating divorces at 70% or higher, not the men. So to say that the man is going to leave you in your mid-30s is just an absurdity, because you're not actually looking at the facts of what's happening. You're not looking at the reasons why women are leaving. Now, women can be leaving because the man doesn't have money, or maybe he's cheating, maybe he's not as interested in her as she wants him to be. But these are all things that can be fixed in a marriage. But women are taking no time to fix things. They just want to leave. And Brian agrees. They just want to leave. So Eugene, Mr. Steele, what do you think about this?
You know, I've heard of couples, I've seen couples who, stayed married for 50, 60, 70 years. I know my parents are still married. They were married for 56 years. And, when you spend, I think when you spend all those years, building with each other, it's going to stay with you forever. It will stay with you forever. Also, let's put this into consideration, okay? Now, yeah, the woman, has to, keep herself up and all that, but there's going to be an age where, physically she can't do it anymore, and also neither will the man. So, for a man, to leave, her, you know, after you can't do anything to maintain yourself, you know, that's really not fair right there, you know. So if you're going to, you know, marry somebody, I mean, when you build with each other, you want to grow old with each other as well, forever, because it is very special. It is. Um, that
Mr.
first,
Steele, Mr. Steele,
yes,
can I
huh?
come in just for 1 second? I want
Yes.
to get Man in the Middle and Mike Dub to wave, please. Okay, and Man in the Middle, can you wave, please? There you are. Okay. Red Pill Hustle, I'm going to put you in the studio, and Mr. Circle, I'm going to put you in the studio, but you guys can come back if you want to stay. You guys, I can bring you back after. But I want to get their input, okay?
Okay.
I'll bring you back. Not you, not you. Okay. And I want to bring a woman in and Mr. Mike Dub. Okay. There we are. Okay, Mr. Steele, please continue.
Yes. Now going back to calling a woman, telling her she's beautiful. Yes, it would be nice, but prefer to really play it safe. You want to know the woman first, because from what I'm hearing nowadays, if some random guy, tells a woman she's beautiful, sometimes the woman will look at the guy funny. Some of the women be doing that nowadays. So
And insult them.
yeah, exactly, insulting. And the world's not what they used to be. So just play it safe, basically.
Man in the Middle and Mike Dub, welcome in, guys. Welcome in and Happy New Year. Do you guys have anything on the topic? What do you all think about the epidemic that we have in this country of simping that reached its peak in 2019 and has been going steady ever since? What do you all think about that? Or do you have a comment on the comment that I mentioned, the one that I read out?
Oh, yeah, I can go. Sorry, I just want to say thank you for hosting the podcast or the episode. And I love you. I've been watching you for like the last 2 weeks now, and I'm just like,
God,
one day I'm gonna get on and just like chime in. And this was like perfect for me to chime in on because I mean, I do think that I'm kind of in the dating scene. And the one thing that you said that struck me was when you said, men don't get compliments that often. And
Mm.
I am not the person to be commenting on this. Like, I'm a homebody. I don't really go out all the time, but I know that like when I do go out, me and my friends, like we do make it a mission to like compliment men, which was interesting that you said that. And I do recognize that the way I move is different. And I've learned that through like these last 2 weeks of watching this network.
Mm.
And, I was brought up in the Catholic Church, and I do, I cook for my brothers, and, I have my father in my life. And, there's all these things that I didn't realize made such a difference in the dating world. Especially at my age. But when you guys are speaking, everything that you guys say and, your point of view, it makes sense for me, like looking at the perspective of the Black community. It makes sense and I believe it works. But I just feel like personally, the messaging to like our young Black men and the messaging to like our young Black women, they don't align. So it's like, with your comment or the message that you read about, women should be, getting married young, like that's kind of like where I am. Like I want to get married young, but we don't have that, what's the word I'm looking for? That message or that culture of dating older,
Mm.
and that's like a new thing that they're telling us to do. And I actually was just having this conversation with my girlfriends last night, and it's like something that we're actually like scared to do. Like we're scared to like date older.
Well, really quickly, can I get your name, because I don't want to call you man in the middle.
Oh, it's Imani. People call me Mani.
Okay, Imani.
Yeah.
I wanted to offer you a little bit of insight too, because culturally, even well, I want to say all cultures have been this way from the
Yeah.
beginning of time, where the man was always typically 7 to who knows how many years older, typically six. I want to say 6 to 7 and older years.
Yeah.
So this isn't a new thing. This is just something that's coming back because people are starting to realize that these relationships where you have two immature people together, where leadership is not firmly established. You have two people who are the same age, they're going to think they have the same rank.
Exactly.
So, Mike Dub, what do you think?
Well, I want to say back on the comment that you mentioned earlier that you said men are leaving. That's like a rare 5%. Like,
Right.
and then majority is, what is it, like Kevin Samuels always said, like 80% of women leave their marriages, and then most of it would be like for financial or infidelity. But majority of the time, it'll be for BS, petty reasons. Like,
Yeah.
oh, I outgrew him, or now that I'm making more money than him, now I feel that I'm better than him some type of way.
Irreconcilable differences, right? Irreconcilable.
Yes.
Which just means I'm not happy. People have already put it in chat. It just means I'm not happy.
But
Which,
here's the thing. Is it the marriage or is it your own personal unhappiness?
well, that's a whole deeper conversation, and I don't think many people are willing to dive deep into that. Like, what's your own personal issue? I honestly, to respond to you there, I think it's also the cultural bring up, the culture that we have right now, the modern culture that teaches you to be alone, that being alone is more comfortable, it's better. You don't have the responsibility of taking over someone and taking care of anyone else. It's so scary responsibility to millennials and Gen Zers, because we want to feel like I'm not responsible for anyone. I'm just responsible for myself, and that's it. Everyone is scared to take on responsibility because people are scared to fail. People are
Well,
scared of failure.
that, and I've noticed that people just don't like to be told what to do.
That too. That too. If you call everyone a king and a queen, then who should they answer to, right?
Yeah.
Mr. Steele, what do you think?
Is it about the getting old thing, or what was it?
Oh, about the commenter speaking about marriage and they're divorcing in their mid-30s.
It really doesn't make any sense to me. The way I look at it is, if you're gonna marry somebody, I mean, at whatever age that is, that means, I mean, you assume that you love that person. But nowadays, you know, when two people get married, it could be, some other reason other than, love. You know, I'm not for sure what it is, but you know, the person who said that, I mean, love is not really in the equation. It's really about lust than
Mm.
about love. Okay, it's all lust to me.
Mm.
Either that or they're they've gotten what's the word, obsessed with the person.
Yeah,
But it's not
exactly.
really love. It's just this attraction that they can't explain it, but it's really not true love in a lot of cases.
Right.
So have you guys heard about that? Where there's certain? Oh, go ahead, Imani.
I was just going to ask a question, and I actually saw this on one of the Lapeef Network episodes. It was the Broken Dusty segment, and they were I hate saying that. I hate saying that. But and I literally, after I listened to it, I had to call my dad to just like I always like listen to you guys and I call my dad to get like his input. And on that episode specifically, like I think they were all around my age and they were talking about like the 90-day rule for women.
Yeah.
And it just it and like I said, I realized that like I was brought up in the church, so like my view on it is very differently. But when Mike and Eugene, they were just speaking and they're talking about love right now within that episode specifically, which I kind of resonate with because like I said, like they're my age. In that whole segment, nobody spoke about love, nobody spoke about respect, and it's like we're talking about sex between two people, and in 3 hours nobody even mentioned like, oh, does this person love me, does this person respect me, does like they're like things that like morals and values that I'm like, oh my goodness, I could never just give my body to somebody if I didn't feel that way.
Mm.
But it's like we've normalized this conversation where we can have this conversation and not value love, respect, or just somebody just caring for you as a human being. And so when Eugene and Steele, or Eugene and Mike, they were talking about love, it's like, do we even push that now? Like I don't know. In my age cohort now, I don't know. In the older, like my dad will tell me that, but it's so weird to kind of adjust the old style with the new style, and it stresses me out.
Well, love, Imani, love is such a such a peculiar thing in this world we have now, because love used to mean something different. In a lot of our elders' times, they can explain love way differently than we can.
Yeah.
So, I
Can I
mean,
say
I don't.
something?
Go ahead.
A lot of times people confuse love with lust. And then that's what I said.
Go ahead.
I don't know if this is the right thing to say, but post-nut clarity is a very real thing. You may think that person is awesome because you're lusting after them, but after you have that, you get with them for the first time, then you start to see the red flags and see who they really are, because you finally were able to get with them, and that lust for them is no longer there. And by that point, sometimes it's too late. Sometimes our kids involved now.
Anybody feel free to comment there.
Should have strapped up. That's all I'm gonna say.
Wanted to-
Post nut area is real, but definitely should have strapped up.
What Mike and Eugene both talked on, the thing of love and lust or infatuation. And one of the things I've learned for the last few years is that love, actual love, is not a feeling. It's a choice. It's a decision. And what is love? Love is responsibility. It is responsibility, and I'm going to use the word obligation. There's another word I'm looking for, but obligation and responsibility. Duty. There we go. And when you step into that duty and you actually, and okay, I'll just say that, step into that duty, the fulfillment that we're looking for in our lives, chasing after these experiences, chasing after these feelings, yeah, that actually starts to happen inside the marriage. You go back to the arranged marriage culture. Two people got together, didn't even know each other, barely knew each other. And the complaint in the North American culture has been, oh, how could these people love each other when they don't know each other? Well, that wasn't the point. The point was building something and building something, and that those feelings came later. You grew to love the person. Here
Right.
in this culture, we're looking for sparkles, we're looking for fireworks, we're looking for butterflies, all things that die and do not last. But duty, responsibility, respect, those things do last.
Rodney, I want to bring up something really quickly regarding that, regarding the arranged marriages. And people always ask, how did that work out if you didn't know the person, if you didn't know each other? And one thing that I want to give you guys an example of, and I want you guys to think with me from a Middle Eastern, maybe Eastern perspective. So all of us are raised up the same way. So when we get married, it's not a surprise. It's not too much of a surprise of what we're going to get. We already know what to expect out of you. My husband knew that I was going to be wearing a lot of dresses, that I was going to be feminine, I was going to be cooking bread, that I would know how to do these things because he knew that my parents had taught me that as a Middle Eastern girl. As a Middle Eastern girl, he knew what he was going to get in a wife. I knew what I was going to get in a husband. So to say like, why you get married, you don't know each other. We didn't have to because we knew that you grew up under the same culture that I grew up under. So I understand that we are going to understand each other perfectly almost without the need to have to get to know and understand. The problem with America, I hear some feedback. Okay, everybody who's not speaking, put on mute, please. Um, the problem with the Western culture is that there's so many different cultures, there's so many different ideas, and you don't know what you're getting when you get into a relationship or a marriage because you don't know how the other person grew up. There's no common foundation that we have here where we can say, I trust you enough. I trust that you know what to do with me, that I'm going to be a good wife to you, and you know how to treat me as a good wife, and that I'm going to be a good husband and provide for you, and you know your place, and you know what to do at home. We don't have a foundation here. So everyone is so scared. That's why they take so long to try to get to know each other, to understand if they're compatible, or if they are a good match, because you don't know what you're getting.
Can
And
I
then,
add, can I add something?
yeah.
A lot of times we say being your true self. A lot of people are not being their true selves. They're being the person that the other person will like.
Well, everybody does that in a certain way, you know. I wouldn't say that that's a huge issue because wanting to please another person, there's nothing wrong with that. Um, but you're right. If you change yourself too much, eventually the real you will come out, right?
Yeah, and then that one true you, that's not the person they end up liking. They like the fake you that you put on for so long.
I hear what he's saying.
So in a relationship, would you say that a person in a relationship is giving you their representative? So what's the point of being in a relationship or dating if you're going to be dating the representative of a person anyway? You're not really dating the person that they are until you get married.
You're right. They're pretty much wearing a mask, but because some people are not they're not confident with their true self, or they need to do some internal healing, that they put this persona on to think like, hey, I'm gonna be this person so they'll like me even more.
Hmm.
And then when they get married, they fell in love with that person that you created, and come to find out that's not the real you. And then come 5 years down the line, your true colors comes out, and the true you that person doesn't like.
Hmm.
Yep. It's tied to
That
something
actually
else.
is the true you. That means the person is an actor. That is a profession. You are a fake. You've been faking. Faking is a profession. You're a professional faker, or you are a professional actor. They are seeing the true you. They're just not able to identify it.
Uh, they call this process a bait and switch. And another content creator discussed the bait and switch, uh, and also faking it until you make it. So many people, and mostly it's women doing it. Mostly, uh, they want to, play a role, get wifed up, and then once you get married, they could just rest and lay back, and it's I mean, that's a real messed up situation. And after hearing all that, what came to my mind is courting, a person now gets tricky because now, even if you think you got it all figured out, it could, I mean, it could come at you right in the blink of an eye.
So what do you think about, okay, regarding this simping and the pandering and all of this? How does that tie into this issue that we're finding when you get married? The person is different than what you thought they were going to be. Can this be part of the problem? The simpage?
Definitely part of the problem. I wanted to speak to that. When we made it easier and easier for people to conveniently end a marriage, and on top of that, take away resources that they didn't earn from somebody and take off and find somebody else and do the same thing, you notice, look at it, you go back in history and look at it, how women presented their beauty way back in the day when it wasn't so easy in the United States to do that. Then look at what they did with their beauty afterwards, and you see something being expressed. What's going on is when we do what we do with our actions and our words, that's what I was saying before, we're expressing priorities. We're letting people know what's in our minds. That's why we talk to people the way we do, look at them the way we do. That's why you go to one store and you're ready to never go back there again. And they didn't really say anything, but you caught everything they were expressing. And there's some people who already got you as a return customer just by the way they treated you, even though they didn't say everything that was on their mind. That same thing goes on with beauty, and therefore with dating. It becomes selfish to where, in the woman's case, she will be using her beauty to get the man to do what she wants her to do, what she wants him to do for her. And once she gets that, she's ready to take off. If you look at a man, he's ready to use his money, his words, his pickup lines, or whatever to get her to do what he wants for him. What's up?
Your mic is going in and out. Is there any way that you can maybe disconnect the Bluetooth or something?
Not on Bluetooth. How about now? I'm just holding the phone in a different place. How do I sound now?
Okay, maybe you were covering the speaker. Who knows? I don't know.
But
there,
I can hear them loud and clear.
Is it better now?
Okay, we can see if it stays stable now.
Okay. So if when a man has things that he'll do in order to get a woman to do what he wants for him, selfishly motivated, whatever those things are, and I wouldn't waste time trying to figure those things out and think we're going to solve something, even if we had a list of them that was perfectly accurate. That's a rabbit trail. But the point is when the priorities, when the marriage laws changed and made it convenient for people to get in a marriage and then leave for the most illegitimate, selfish, childish reason, the expression of beauty also changed. A woman no longer was getting herself pretty as a young woman to attract a man. It became to trap a man. And it wasn't to get to a husband. It was to get something out of a husband and then go on and do it again, again, again. So it was an internal change. And so I wanted to say that. And then the next thing, since I don't want to get long-winded and I want everybody to have a chance to weigh in on this, it's the power dynamic. When we see somebody, for men especially, when we see them having a position and lots of income, we see a man with power, social power. When we see a very beautiful woman, she's got something that everybody understands, every young, fertile man desires. If she's young and beautiful, that's power that's placed in her possession naturally. When a man comes up and addresses her regarding her beauty, he's placing power in her hand, just like a woman who walks up and says, "Ooh, nice Porsche," like Dave Chappelle about.
Thank you for pointing that out. Thank you so much, Brian. That's exactly what I was trying to say.
Exactly. I hear you. When we place that power in somebody's hand, what they do next, we get to see the character of that person. What do they do when they have power in their hands over another person? A lot of people zoom right by that. That's why I would say don't walk up to a woman right away and just start lavishing her with compliments on her beauty. Watch how she handles her beauty. How does she present it? Is it manipulatively? Is it graciously? How does she treat the women around who aren't as beautiful? okay, that's an indication of how she's just going to treat everybody else. So I'm going to stop her right there and see what you all think.
Well, that's why I said if you treat a woman like a star, there are some women who will start treating you like a fan, like you are beneath her. Because why are you glorifying her so much? She's gonna think to herself, well, there's something unique about me that makes this man put himself under me, or to deify me and call me goddess. There
And
must be something.
and you know what's
Oh my
funny about
goodness.
those situations?
Hmm.
The man that you thought would never cheat on you ends up cheating on you for that same reason.
Why?
Because you think you're better than him because of your beauty.
Oh.
We're literally creating a celebrity culture.
Yeah.
What that gentleman just what Brian just said there, that struck me. I'm like, that what we're doing is we're going up, and yeah, we're creating celebrity culture. And think about how celebrities, not all, but many celebrities conduct themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Very vain, very shallow, desperate for attention.
Very
Throw away
rude.
relationships as quickly as a child will throw away a candy wrapper.
Yeah.
It is fascinating. I never thought about it like that before. And so as we run around, and I got, yeah, man, boy, oh, where were you guys 20 years ago? As I would go into situations, and even in I thought I was being nice. I thought I was being a good person. As I would go into the McDonald's, I would go into the grocery store, and there'd be a young lady, and she's doing the service, and I would say, "How is the beautiful lady doing today?" And my intent was to do something good, to bring goodness to somebody else.
Mm.
Now you listen to what Brian's talking about. Think about every guy is going up to a lady, especially the attractive ones, and saying something like that. Whether the intention is positive or negative, we're creating celebrities. And
You're
all
not
of a
the only
sudden,
one saying that too. You're not the only one saying that, Rodney. She's probably heard that a million times that same day. And that's a
and I never
problem
thought
because
about that.
yeah.
Because I know how I used to get treated in customer service, and it was not uncommon for somebody to be rather rude and obnoxious and say stupid things and blah blah blah. So I'm thinking, I will understand their situation. I'm going to be a kind person, and I'm going to treat people. Actually, back then I was thinking about being nice, and now look at what Brian said. And look at the conversation that's been happening, like on Kevin Samuel's channel and Lapeef and other channels. As I'm just stumbling here as I realize I fed into that culture unintentionally, but fully. Good intentions is not enough. You have to do right.
Well, there's nothing wrong with being nice. There's nothing wrong with being nice to a person. And this is what I'm trying to say, especially in money. You understand too, you being a woman, there's nothing wrong with a man actually being nice, but coming to you and glorifying you for how you look. And it just creates an environment that it can be taken the wrong way. It can be taken like how I feel. Sometimes I feel really awkward, if somebody does that in person. Online, online it happens, but in person, it's very odd. It's very odd when a man comes to me and says that, because I'm like, okay, I'm just thinking to myself like, okay, but and also for other women who are evil, just like Brian is saying and Rodney, they can take it the other way and say, oh, I'm beautiful. How beautiful? Come and tell me again how beautiful I am so I can take your money.
But this is the thing we got to think about.
Oh, 1 second. Thank you, Maximus. Thank you so much for the super chat. And I'm a kind celebrity. Stop. And Rodney is right about making celebrities. Everyone thinks that they are more popular and great than what they are. Everyone is thinking that now because in Instagram and Facebook and everything, we're creating our own little universes where people can come and admire us. Go ahead. Sorry.
Well, I was going to say it's human nature for those who have power not to give it up. And then the whole celebrity thing, we don't want to be the celebrity. We just want the lifestyle that they have.
Yeah. I was actually going to say back to what Ameera was saying about treating like women as a star when you get that compliment. And obviously, you guys, I can only speak from my limited experience with dating. But like in regard to me and my friends in our situations, when it comes to to getting compliments, like it is weird, like how Ameera was saying, it is weird when you just come out and say it like that. And said to the wrong woman, who is that type of woman that we're talking about, like the Jezebel woman, she will use that and run with it. Like I have seen it firsthand. But like for like me and my friends, like it's kind of awkward. It's like, why would you say that? But as she was saying in the beginning of this broadcast, if we're going out on a date and it's like, oh, like you look really nice, and like, okay, we're actually doing something, okay, then yeah, sure, like maybe compliment me. But if it's just like random, and then also the way it's done as well, it takes us aback, because it's like, why are you saying that? It does make it feel awkward, kind of.
And it's nice to hear this from the women, to have women actually speak out on it, because I've seen feminists speak on it in a really dumb way. And I'm sorry to say that word. I don't usually use that word, but it's really dumb. How they say like, oh, don't catcall me, don't do this. And it's like, catcalling, I understand, like you see people with the men. Oh God, I used to live in New York, and you can't walk by a construction site or something like that and look nice, because you will be whistled at. You'll be whistled at and all of that. Now, I don't know why, but things like that didn't seem too creepy to me. It seemed more creepy when a guy would come to you and say, "You are so beautiful," and it's just like, oh, okay. Because what are you supposed? I'd say thank you, of course, but then I'm thinking, but why you say that? Like, why you have to say? What do we?
So was it his approach, or this the words that he chose?
I think it's just
It's
a compliment
both.
in and of itself.
It's both, because you coming to me, you don't know me, and then whatever could be going on with me, and then you just come and say that, like, you're beautiful, you this, you that, and I'm like, where am I supposed to go from that? Where, other than saying thank you, what else am I going to do? And you understand that me as a person, I'm kind, I'm nice, I won't take advantage of that. But other women, it gets to their head, it goes to their head, and then they're like, yeah, I know, of course. And then next thing, they're going to be expecting every man to compliment them or to look at them as bigger than what they are. Now,
That
you
hair
have,
flip.
there's women, but
I'm not gonna lie, it does feed the ego once you hear that a million times.
I was
Yeah, I was
just
just
gonna
going to
say,
say that.
definitely
Look
gives
at the
them
inflated egos that we're creating.
100%. Like if you guys see on, I don't know if you guys see on any like dating sites and stuff like that, or swiping left or right or all that good stuff, you can see that the women in these profiles, they look, I don't know what's the term for the women equivalent for broken dusty. Okay, these women look busted. Okay, and there's even women on there talking about 4 months pregnant, I'm looking for a real thing, we're a package deal. Like the women have the most like craziest self-entitled sense of ego nowadays than like ever before. It's out of this world. You can see women talking, must be 6 feet tall, got to make 100 grand, got to do this, got to do that, yada yada yada. Got a whole list, and she's a whole 5.
That
And
entitlement.
I want to address the super chat really quickly, guys. Thank you so much, Riquet Caballero. He sent $2. Thank you. He says, if you must compliment, use your backhand. So backhanded compliment. Use a backhanded compliment. I all I can do is read it.
No, I'm not getting that comment.
Right. I was just going to say, adding into, I think it was Red Pill Hustle. I think you said it, and got it started. Somebody else said it too, but I can't remember. That when compliments or anything else goes to somebody's head and they can't handle the power, and they start abusing that power in their thoughts, that creates such arrogance, such entitlement, and it creates a demanding personality.
Yeah.
To where I want everything to be revolving around me, and you had better do and say and act and think and be what I want for me, or else, that kind of thing. It's just an instant turn off. And that's
And after you created that,
many women that actually were gorgeous, and I wouldn't even say good morning, let alone you look nice or anything like that. And I would go to somebody else in a split second just because of that. What were you saying, Ameera?
you think about that, and that woman that we are creating and the woman that we are feeding that ego to is now going to turn around and be in a relationship.
Boom.
And the thing that I'm thinking about is how it's
Yeah.
affecting relationships, because we can say this is such a trivial thing. It's just say thank you and keep moving. Yes, that is what you're supposed to do. But the problem is How does that affect the ego? How does that affect the woman as she moves on in her life? Because this isn't just one day. A beautiful girl or a girl who is desired by many, she will hear this many times in a day after day after day. And then don't let it stop there, because she goes home and now she's away from men, but then she opens her phone and there it is again. You're gorgeous, you're beautiful. It
My
doesn't stop.
goodness.
And
Oh
how is
my
that
goodness.
affecting her for her relationships is what I'm talking about. How is that? What kind of woman are you creating?
And that right
Oh,
there is why, Ameera, that right there is why women think they deserve more than they actually are.
But I gotta say that definitely falls back on us men, because as Amir said, that these women are just living everyday life in the grocery store or just walking down the street, and it's these simps out here at an all-time high validating these girls for no reason. So that's something that we need to work on and say to
No
the
doubt.
guys, like, yeah, 100%.
No
But
doubt.
we can't control the
But-
simps, though.
But the reason why guys do that is because they hope it leads somewhere.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, we've been watching a lot of Disney coming up, and the whole romanticism of marriage, and we were talking about marriage and love earlier, and I was having a discussion in a previous LTR I was in. I'd much rather be, and I think Ameera said that her husband said the same thing, and correct me if I'm wrong, I'd much rather be respected than loved. Love is like a feeling, and it's fleeting, and it's here one minute, and it's gone the next, and this and that and the third, but I'd much rather like be respected throughout the duration if I was married, instead of just love today and then not love tomorrow, and then you're happy tomorrow and or the day after, and whatever the case is.
I think
Well-
that women should do that. They should, every woman who's here, if you're in I don't believe in relationships, but if you're in a relationship or if you're married, ask your husband, would you prefer, what's more important to you, that I love you or that I respect you? And I guarantee that most of you will be surprised to hear his response, because men don't see the things the way that we see it. And thank you again for the super chat, Mr. Rique Caballero. It says it's called negging. Have her invest first, then you may reward her with some validation.
That's
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Come
It
on.
is, it's,
I would say this: men want to be respected, women want to be adored.
yeah.
Attention is most important for us. Yes, Imani?
Can I ask a question? I just want to know, does it depend on the type of compliment? Because like if you go up to a woman and you go up and you say, you're so beautiful, and you're like, so I guess the whole scene matters. But what if he's like, oh, you look really lovely today. I'm wondering if, and then you want to get a number exchange, have a conversation. Like, do you think it's the actual like, oh, you're beautiful or you're gorgeous? Is it those? And is there a way that, because I don't know, my dad, and maybe because again, maybe I'm spoiled, but like my dad treats me like a princess. So, and he wants people to treat me like a princess. So I don't know. I have to run through this whole conversation with my dad later tonight, but I'm just wondering, do you guys think it's the type of comment that is just so stargazing-ish, or is it just like no compliments at all?
Do you want it from a woman's perspective or a man?
Both.
Okay.
I can answer from a man's, but let Ameera go first.
I appreciate that. Okay, from a woman's perspective, I want to say if someone comes up and compliments your outfit or something else other than your beauty and calling you pretty or queen or something like that, I think that more time has gone into this person's mind to think about other things to say other than the standard, you're beautiful, you're gorgeous, you're this, you're that. So I think that would be more appreciated, that you actually notice something else instead of trying to glorify my looks. You actually try to look on me and see something else that you could have complimented. So honestly, I wouldn't be offended by that, but that I wouldn't know how that feels, honestly, because been married too long. So all right. Guys' perspective.
Sure. I was gonna say compliment wise. It's interesting that somebody said a few minutes ago, I like your Porsche. Saying it to a guy. He doesn't feel a compliment. It hits a trigger like, uh-oh, you want something. Like you didn't go to him and say, hey, I respect that you're a hardworking man. You must be winning at life. You're not showing him you're not respecting the 20 years he put of hard work. Especially if it's a man, if it's a minority, because ain't nobody giving us nothing out here. Let's be real. But if he's a trust fund guy and you say, I like your Porsche, he didn't work for it. He didn't even earn it. So you're rewarding enabling behavior. So that compliment is not even really a compliment. and you're complimenting somebody for work that they didn't earn. Just like I'm about to compliment Ameera. I'm not going to say, oh, you're beautiful, you're mother queen goddess. I say, Ameera, I love your femininity. I love the way that you run this channel, how we got 8 people, no one talking over anyone.
Hello.
Nobody talking over anyone. And I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Henderson. I
Just
appreciate
all,
that.
all other 7 of you. Nobody talking over each other.
Right.
If I can jump in there real quick, I don't think that it would make a difference between saying, oh, you're so beautiful, and hey, I think you're gorgeous, or whatever. It's still undeserving validation any way you look at it. I think it would have the same effect. It might not be as detrimental as we're seeing today, but it would be very close in my opinion. I don't think there's any difference because, again, she's online and on Instagram, she's gotten how many likes for showing her body and this and that and the third, and then she's in the grocery store, and then guys are just saying, hey, you're so pretty, or hey, can I talk to you? And just, it's, I don't think the words matter, it's the actions. It's validation in one form or another.
So you're saying it's rewarding behavior. You're not rewarding work, you're just rewarding thin air? Is that what I mean?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, yeah, you're rewarding nothing. She didn't do anything to deserve that. You don't know her, and you're going up to her to give her a compliment for no reason.
Go ahead.
I know what he's talking about. Go ahead. I won't forget. Go ahead.
Okay. I was going to say, if you're continuously enable thin air, then she's being rewarded for nothing. And I see, what is it? 26% African-American males are married, women are married, which is super low. And it's like 30-something% for the men. There's a lot of people in what I call zombie marriages, where they didn't stand on their square early, men and women. And there's a man stuck there. It's like, yeah, I know I got that woman over there. His wedding photos like this. That's his smile. And he's stuck there 7 years. And it's like, look, I can't stand this woman. She done gained 722 pounds. She's angry. But
good girl.
I don't want to lose my house, and I just want to be a father to my kids. That's a zombie. Or the woman's with this dude, he's still cheating and doing his thing. He don't get on his purpose. And she's like, yeah, but I mean, what's she gonna do? Go back out in the market. And the market is evil. Let's be real. I guess some of this behavior can lead up into them zombie marriages.
I wanted to talk in on this topic as well, as I'm thinking about this and the idea of, you know, creating celebrities and stuff like that. The idea that came to me, or what I heard out of this conversation, is that we're giving unwarranted praise. This person hasn't done anything to earn that respect, earn that validation. And I'm thinking about myself, and I was in my 20s and I was barely making any money. I knew I was not worthy of a relationship because I had nothing to offer. I had to work hard, build myself up, and now today I get to actually have a relationship. But what if ladies regularly, back when I had nothing, told me how wonderful I was, how awesome I was, and was always giving me attention, positive attention, and gave me praise for things I was not doing, working hard, making money, paying bills, and taking care of business? I would then have believed that I'm enough. I'm already enough. What more do I need to do? So then I would have tried to get a relationship. I would have gotten into that relationship with that same mentality. And all of a sudden, oh, sorry, Mike.
Well, but here's the thing, though. Women get validation just for simply being a woman. Only time men get validations is unless we bring something to the table.
That's true. That's true. I was speaking hypothetically, Mike. It's a really solid point. Absolutely. I don't know of any men that actually get false, unwarranted validation. It probably happens in minority situations, but it's not common. But I'm thinking to myself, if that had happened to me, then when I go into a relationship, I'd be shocked that I'm expected to suddenly do something. What?
Yes.
Bill? I've never had to pay bills. I'm already doing enough. Oh, forgive me, but I've heard this line too many times. I am the table. I'm already here. You need to love me right now. Or pardon me, not love me. In my case, it'd be, you need to respect me right now in my nothing. Lord have mercy.
I was
really
waiting.
quickly, Brian, really quickly. I wanted to get Imani in because she had her hand raised for some time.
Sorry, he wanted to go first. So
okay, go ahead.
All right. Yeah, I want to address Molly's question. Would it make a difference in the scenario? I was going to side on yes. I live in New Orleans, and here in the South, it's a big thing to find some kind of little smooth, slick way to weave a compliment in there. Besides just walking up on someone, hey, you look good. If I see a woman walk in a grocery store and she's not just beautiful because of genetics, but she's got herself decked out and it's modest, and she's carrying herself beautifully, she's moving beautifully, she's talking to people beautifully. Things like that. Sometimes, what if she drops something, a Southern thing, a New Orleans thing would be to say, hey, you dropped something there, beautiful. So there, is she saying, when she says thank you, is she saying thank you for telling me I dropped something? Or, well, she can't do that without acknowledging you called her beautiful. But you walked on, you went on about your business. So you just dropped a compliment off. So that scenario I see is a little bit different than walking up to somebody and engaging her by saying, hey, gorgeous, where are you headed? And it's obviously you're trying to use that as, really, I'm gonna call it what it is, manipulation. If you're doing something like that and you're being selfish about what you're doing, you're just trying to get a position, jockey for a position. I see that as a difference, and I see what Red Pill Hustle is talking about too. If it's unwarranted, if you didn't take the time to see how she's carrying herself, if you didn't watch her attitude, if you didn't hear her speak, if she's not carrying herself beautifully, and you come out with that stuff, then I see where Red Pill Hustle's coming about it too. But I think it can be a difference in scenarios. So I was just going to say that, Iman. Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, I do agree with you, because I had the exact same experience today at the grocery store. I go to the same grocery store and I have a really lovely interaction with Mr. Ralph, and he always compliments me, but it's not like, like he'll say like, oh, like, I know we're like, this is what he said today. He said, I know we're in the culture of wearing masks, but like from here up, like you look like this celebrity today. Like, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, oh, thank you. And, like, we'll have like a nice exchange. And then I literally leave the grocery store, and then another man runs up to me and says, like, when I'm getting in my car, like, oh my goodness, like, you're so beautiful. I just wanted to know, like, do you have a boyfriend? And I'm just like, yes, thank you. Bye. And then it's just like a random, like, awkward exchange, So I would agree. Like, I think it does depend on the scenario and the situation. Yeah.
I want to say something, guys, and then I want Mr. Steele to follow after me. Guys, when we're saying this, can we make a differentiation between when you're interested in a girl or if you're just trying to be kind? So if you're interested in this girl, this is one of the main ways that I tell you, don't call her beautiful. If you're really interested in her, don't just go to her and do that, because you're going to look like every other man. You're going to look like everyone else. So if you're really interested in her, do it differently. Don't say this. Just do your actions, or compliment something else, or talk about something else. Get her attention a different way than doing that, because you're going to look like everyone else. Really quickly, I want to address the super chat. Thank you, Mr. Rike. You said compliments from a place of scarcity are cringe. Mr. Steele.
Yeah, I want to say this before I go. We talk about simps, telling women they're beautiful. And there are cases where somebody goes up to a woman knowing good and well she's way less than beautiful, but want to tell her anyway. That guy is boosting her head up. People will boost her head up, and then, but this is going to end up hurting her in the long run if she has an ego, because now she tries to get into a relationship, reality sets in, and guys just rejecting her left and right. But here's the worst case scenario. The worst case scenario is, the guy, the guys that might pretend, he likes her, and ended up doing a bait and switch on her as well. So that could end up being a dangerous situation for somebody to boost her head up.
Hey, I want to address something really quickly. Mr. Scam Likely, what is up with you and weight? You have been complaining about weight since you've been on this panel tonight. You've talking about 722 pounds, and you can't do this, you can't do that. Bye, Mr. Steele. What is up with you and weight?
Thing with weight is, oh my God, it's like Kevin can people stop trying to force these 300-pound women down these high-value men's throats?
But and here,
I'm just being honest.
Even if you're not high value, health is important. We shouldn't be glorifying being unhealthy.
but let's be honest.
197 pounds. I'm 196.
My bad. You go ahead.
I'm just saying. Oh, somebody else go ahead. Let me be respectful.
Oh, go ahead. Anyone who wants to go, you can go. But anyone who's not speaking, please mute your mic because we're getting so much feedback, and I don't know who exactly it's coming from. But
Okay, all right.
Money.
I just want to say one last thing before I have to go. And I want to address Rodney and I think Simp Anderson, he was saying it. Sorry, all these names. But you guys were talking about like you guys don't know if men receive that type of validation. And then you were speaking about, Rodney, how if you were younger, like you would probably see that have received that type of validation. And I just got to thinking, and I wonder if that is how men feel in this day and age now, because you know, with men and women, they have so much access to sex, and you know, women are in relationships with men who aren't the man yet, and I would think in my mind, I feel like that is kind of a form of validation for like the men, like men who don't have much, or you know, they're still building or wherever they are in life, and they get sexual attention from just women because of apps and because of social media. Do you think that that would be equivalent to like that type of validation?
That's a solid point. I hadn't thought about it from that angle. But yeah, how often do young men, men in general, have access to that gratification?
I can answer. It's going to be off the wall though. Oh, continue, but I can answer it after.
Thank you. If you have that gratification, that validation, I guess that would be like a validation. And the lady might be thinking of this as just as a one night stand, but he walks away going, yeah, I still got it, or I have it. And then the lady is getting those compliments. She's like, I've got it. And you get those two groups coming together, trying to create relationships. Lord, have mercy.
Yeah.
Then when further and further apart.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, man.
Oh, now I was going to say our validation is a little bit different. Just understand, like me as a single man, a man of value, not at the high value stage yet, but I meet a woman and they speaking to me with this feminist talk, and they got 2 kids over here with Pookie and Ray Ray. You just rewarded that behavior, and you signed a 20-year long-term contract. You validated that that's what's acceptable over there. You bring the kids, and you tell me you hold me to a high standard to take care of somebody else's kids. It's just off track. It's just, you know. Or your last 3 boyfriends didn't do nothing. You picked them. And I'm gonna leave the weight out of this one this time. Let's say it's an unagreeable woman, bad attitude. Your attitude scared off your last 3 boyfriends. You come over here and tell me that I gotta simp, or I gotta go pedestalize. Just what we want is fair deals and some kind of just, okay, reward me for who I am, respect who I am, but don't come over here with the garbage and expecting me to be the cleanup man. Let's
Amen. Lord have mercy.
But here's the thing.
I got 10 years left.
Like what you,
yeah.
But like what you, oh my bad. But like what you just said, a lot of, like you said, she has 3 failed relationships. A lot of people don't look in the mirror and realize that they're the reason why for the failed relationships.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know. I just
It's the simp for validating it.
Well, that, and they refuse to heal.
Mm-hmm.
And let's be honest. Sometimes the Pookie and Ray Ray are emotionally safe because they already know they're going to screw them over.
Oh my God, I've heard that before. That a lot of women go to bad guys because they know that they can't fail, that they're not going to fail at least.
Yeah.
You know, if you're already failing, you can't fail more.
A lot of women don't claim they would want a good guy, but they won't be able to handle it in the end if they haven't healed from the stuff that happened in the past. because you're going to expect him, and it's going to drive you crazy for him to do the same thing that these others did in the past. Like, you ever seen this one episode of Divorce Court? This lady got divorced. She sat there and said, "Oh, my husband was great. He was a great husband. He provided. He did everything for me. All right, why you get divorced? I'm just waiting for him to turn around one day and hit me."
I've heard some
Wait,
stuff like that.
to turn around and what, hit her?
Hit
Yeah.
her.
Oh.
He was too nice, in other words. That's
Oh.
No,
Did
it's
you
the
guys see
fact
the one
that
where the guy was
His mother
glowing?
did that. Oh my goodness, yeah.
it's the fact that she believes so hard that men are so bad that she can't believe she found a good one.
I hear that
Yeah.
too.
I've personally seen that.
Yeah. Oh, Lord have mercy.
I wanted to address
Guys, oh, sorry.
that point.
Big Brian, I just want to say it was lovely talking to all you guys. I have to go. Ameera, thank you so much
Thank
for
you so much,
hosting.
Imani.
I'll be tuning in. I'll be listening, but I have to go. I love the conversation. Bye.
Thank you. I appreciate you. Bye. Guys, also another thing about that is confirmation. I think it was Cam Likely who said it was confirmation. Like when you have a man who's complimenting a woman and she's already, okay, let's say the woman is wearing all fake up, all, everything is fake, 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 fake. And the man is coming to you and saying, "You're so beautiful." So that's like confirmation to say, like, I'm confirming that what you're doing is a beauty standard. You're looking good, that this is what we want. And it shouldn't, and then it probably goes to someone else's head and thinks like, okay, well, this is what is good. This is what gets me the most compliments. Like when I do this, I get the most compliments. I'm getting confirmation for whatever I'm doing. I don't know. Maybe I'm looking too far into that, but
No, 100%. A lot of guys who are like lower on the totem pole and they're just trying to get it in any way they can. They'll tell a girl with fake teeth and fake lashes and fake nails, even though we don't like that stuff. They'll go ahead and say, "Oh yeah, you're so beautiful," just to try and get it in and stuff like that. And again, I think that's more accountability on the men's side.
yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like, and that's why so many women are so uncomfortable with leaving the house without doing so many things to themselves, having all these additives and all the fake stuff. Like a lot of women don't feel comfortable leaving the house without it anymore because that's the only way they get compliments. You only get complimented when you're doing that. If you don't do that, nobody compliments you.
I wanted to address that and the last 3 points you guys have made, all from the perspective of this love versus respect thing. When I was talking about love, Rodney already alluded to it, that love's not a feeling. He called it an action. The reason old folks have a different look on love and beauty and the rest of the things we're talking about is because they were thinking something different when they said the word love. That word's been corrupted little by little by little. And that's why you have 50 people in the room and you ask them what love is, and you're going to get 50 different answers. The old folks who saw love as an action, it's a commitment that has the other person's benefit in mind, not what I can get, not what I feel. When you do that and you take that, you say you cannot love me and disrespect me at the same time. If it's real love, according to that definition, you would have to show me respect, and that would be love. For a woman, the same basic love. I have to look for your benefit. Okay, that means I'm going to have to go through different channels than you would have to go through for me because you're built differently. But I'm doing the same thing. I'm looking for your benefit, and I've already decided no matter what it costs me, here I come to give you what you need. When that's not there, women are willing to gain 722 pounds, and they won't care how it affects their husband. Yeah, I went there. When that's not there, men are willing to walk up to a woman they don't know who's caked up with, all this Pillsbury cake makeup kind of thing and just start basically telling lies just to see if they can get what they want. They're willing to be selfish because that kind of love I'm talking about is not there. And so I'm glad you made the distinction of when you're talking about somebody you're interested in, don't walk up with, "Hey, you're beautiful." What came to my mind when you said that is when you walk up and, "Hey, you're beautiful," and I've had that happen too. Well, some woman walks up, "Hey, you're so handsome." What it tells me is, "Hey, I want something out of you. I demand you give it to me right now. I'm just using this as the crowbar to jack the door open to get what I want out of you."
Have you seen people? Mr. Brian, have you seen people who get mad if they come to you and call you beautiful and you just say thank you and you politely try to walk away? The man will get mad and then start calling your name, saying, "Well, you're ugly anyway," or "I was just saying that," because maybe they didn't get the response that they wanted. I've seen that happen where they'll just turn around completely. So did you really mean it, or is it like what Red Pill Hustle said? It's manipulation. You're manipulating me to get me to do something or to respond a certain way, and if I don't respond accordingly, you get upset and you start insulting me.
Sure enough. Sure enough. I love talking to you guys. I want to do this again. Ameera, thanks for having me, but I'm hungry. It's as simple as that. I'm about to go hit this kitchen, so I'm
Same
out of
here.
here. You guys be easy. Peace.
Thank you. Bye, Mr. Brian. I
I
appreciate you.
want, I want to talk about what Red Pill Hustle said. He's pretty much saying, like what you're saying, Amir, is like, how dare you reject me and not give me the outcome I was looking for?
That's facts. And there's a lot of these girls who are like really entitled. I remember this was years ago, and there was a really entitled girl that I was entertaining, and I told her that I was going to sleep with her, and she was flabbergasted. She probably had never had a guy tell her that he didn't want to hit the sheets with her, and because she's just so used to it. And I think a lot of girls are just so used to that validation and being told yes whenever she wants something because they've got that magic box.
But here's the thing, you can tell a woman's beautiful without actually using the word beautiful.
There's so many ways.
Like what the lady that I forgot her name already.
Imani.
Amina.
Amina was
I got
out here.
No, Imani.
Okay, my bad. Let me be quiet.
Imani was talking about how this guy was talking to her in a grocery store, and he didn't say beautiful. He just gave her a compliment, and next thing you know, a conversation sparked. Versus a guy that ran up to her and said, "Hey, I just want to let you know you're beautiful. Do you have a boyfriend?" It is possible, and usually you'll get better outcomes and have a conversation out of it if you do it the correct way. But we as men, we were taught to be blunt and be direct about everything. And sometimes it kind of shoots us in the foot in a lot of ways.
I mean, is it true that they're actually being direct? Like I said, with that example that I gave you, where the woman didn't respond the way that the man wanted, and he took it back. He basically said, "Well, I didn't really mean it anyway. I was just, you're actually ugly and whatever. You're overweight, scam likely. You're 722 pounds, and still, I just said you're beautiful just because I wanted, and to start insulting you. So is it true that men are actually just being blunt, or are they just saying this? See, this is why I don't know about the genuineness of it when men do this. I'm sure there's so many situations where the man actually just thinks the girl is beautiful. Maybe she really is beautiful, and he just feels the need. He's compelled to go tell her this. Like, this is information that she's never heard before. Look, news break, news break. This is like important update, emergency. You're beautiful. And the girl is probably like, well, that's pretty much what I was trying to be all day. That's why I dress this way. That's why I did my hair this way. Yes, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe,
I agree. I think a lot of the time it's not genuine. I think if there was like zero expectation of getting something in return or getting her phone number or whatever the case is, that wouldn't happen nearly as often.
And that's the problem right there, is that people go into this situation with that expectations.
did you guys see the comment of the other guy? The other guy, he disagrees with us, and he said, please compliment your woman because, she'll appreciate you for that.
Yeah, but
definitely. We're talking about the random women that you meet in the grocery store.
Sorry, Mike.
He can cam up. He can take my spot.
Yeah. There's a difference between compliment your woman or your wife, but we're talking about just some random woman that you see in the grocery store, or that you see just randomly when you're walking around. There's a complete difference between you complimenting your wife versus you complimenting some random woman.
I think in terms of like the giving on one validation, there's a bit of a difference. But I'm anyone could completely disagree. I could be completely wrong here, but I don't know. I still wouldn't be just throwing compliment after compliment after compliment, even if you're in like a long-term relationship or a marriage, because same thing. She can get an inflated sense of ego And then she'll be like, who said it somewhere earlier? Well, I'm so beautiful. You've been telling me all these years, or I make this much money now, and I know I'm beautiful because you've been validating me all these years. She's thinking subconsciously. So I don't know if I would. There's definitely a difference. I agree with you, but I still wouldn't be just, giving her a compliment like left and right.
I agree with you. You could compliment her, but don't put her on a pedestal.
Exactly, 100%.
There's a difference.
Yeah, like don't call it like goddess, queen goddess, like Mother Earth. It's like, come on, this is too much. I wanna share a secret with you guys, since you all are men and you guys don't know the woman world. You guys don't know girl world. Well, I hope you guys don't. Anyway,
I spend every day there.
So girl world, I'm gonna give you guys a secret. So us girls, like our currency is like attention and compliments and stuff like that. Those kind of things are like ego boosters. And if we're down and we're having a bad day, it can make us feel a lot better. So we women understand that. Now, women in the chat, don't lie, okay? Tell the truth. We go to the restroom, washroom, whatever you want to call it. If we're in the washroom together and we're standing next to each other, sometimes if you need an ego booster, you'll tell the girl next to you, oh, I like your hair. Oh my God. And you probably don't even really like it. But you do that so that she can turn around and tell you something that she likes about you. You know what I mean? It's like, and what's seen as really rude is if one girl gives another girl a compliment, but the girl doesn't compliment the other girl back. That's considered completely rude and completely like against girl etiquette. We're not supposed to do that. Like, we're supposed to compliment the other girl back if she compliments us. So it's strange. It's like I boost your ego and then you have to boost mine now. Okay, like I boosted you, now you have to boost me. Go.
Men don't do that. Men don't do that.
Nah, definitely not on that level. At nowhere near that. I don't know.
Telling you, no, disaster. No, but it's happened to you, beautiful disaster. It's happened to you that a girl has come up to you and complimented you and expected a compliment back, and you didn't. Sometimes people just don't compliment the other girl back, and it's kind of like, it's kind of like not nice, right? But yeah.
No, I've never experienced something like that. Just maybe in terms of like money, where a colleague or a coworker might be like, "Yo, I'm trying to get like you. I see the business deal you made, or I see how many hours you're putting in, and I know you get into the bag." And I'm like, "Nah, I'm just trying to get like you." But that's about as far as we'll take it.
Okay, I'm seeing the comments. Wait, I'm seeing the comments, and girls are denying this. Are you guys seriously telling me, ladies, that you have never experienced that girls come up to you and compliment you like that, and then they're expecting one back? You guys are seriously not, you've never seen it in your life that a girl has come up to you and is like, oh, I like your hair, or I like something, and then waiting for you to compliment them back. Really? I can't be the only one who has experienced that. I don't know. Maybe you guys aren't understanding the situation. Maybe I'm not explaining it properly, but
maybe it's just the feminine woman.
It happens all the time. All the time. You see girls, and I'm actually like, even if a girl had complimented me on something, I would actually just say something nice to her, because I'm like, she already complimented me, so I'll just say something nice back. It happens, and for girls to say that, I don't know. I don't believe you, girl. I don't believe you.
The thing I noticed the most, that another man will compliment another man's success.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
respect is very respectful too.
And that's kind of what I was saying. Like, I see you doing good things, so I'm trying to get like you, or whatever the case is. Yeah, we don't compliment each other's looks, not like that.
Well, I mean, that would be like men going to the bathroom together and like, hey, like,
No.
And then I'll add too, another man will compliment another man's girl.
oh,
Like if you were married, it's like, oh man, you did a good one right there.
oh.
But sometimes it could be disrespect, but sometimes it could be respect. It depends on the guy.
So it's not offensive for men to compliment the wife of someone else?
That's pretty offensive. It would have to be a very like.
That's
I would say it's more
character.
offensive than not. I wouldn't be cool with someone complimenting my girl like that.
I think it's a character judging thing. Like,
Yeah.
I can see your picture. You got a pretty wife, a pretty woman. I'm saying it out of respect.
Like, let's say your homeboy compliments and just say, hey, you doing good. You doing good. You got your family, you got your kids good. You're on the road to success. You're doing well for yourself. So you wouldn't take that as a compliment?
Well, you just grouped the whole bunch into one. There was a way more than just complimenting my girl. If someone just like, like maybe if they said something along the lines of like, dang, I see your girl, like I see you out here because something like that. But as far as like, yo, your girl's really beautiful. And I know that's a really fine line, but I think there's a big difference between the two.
I think
Because
it's
I've had friends and homeboys who like actually went after my ex after I was out of the picture. So like for me, any sort of kind of like anything that can be considered interest, I'm not really cool with.
Just really quickly, I want to address the super chat. Thank you, Hentai. Hentai is a great friend of mine. Thank you, Hentai. He says a lot of women don't know how to take a compliment and just say thank you, especially from men. And thank you, Priscilla, for actually telling the truth. She actually tells the truth. Thank you for being one of the first women to actually tell the truth that it is considered rude if you don't compliment back with the girls. It is considered rude. So I don't know.
I got a question from for the women. Is it sometimes the man depends on the compliment whether they accept it or not?
Huh?
Whether you find him attractive?
Wait, you said if a man compliments you and he's attractive, if that's seen as offensive?
No, I'm saying like you're willing to accept the compliment if you find the man attractive, but if you don't find the man attractive or creepy, then you think it's weird.
Oh, I've heard that. So, yeah, I've heard that said before, where they say like if a man that you find attractive compliments you, you accept it and you think it's cute, and if it's a one that you don't like, that you think it's creepy. I don't know. I mean, honestly, women feel free to respond to that question. I don't know about that because I think it's all the same, really. Like it's a person saying something. It's just a person saying something. I don't see it any differently if it's someone who is like handsome or versus someone who's ugly. Mm.
Hey, Amir, I gotta head out of here. I'm gonna pull a Brian. I'm hungry too, so I'm gonna bid you
Yeah,
guys a good night.
yeah. Thank you, Red Pill
Yeah, thanks for
Hustle.
having me on.
Bye. Happy New Year, guys. I want to shut down too because I am actually hungry. All this talk about food has made me hungry as well. I want to thank you all for joining me, though. Thank you for joining me in this conversation. This has been quite interesting because we've never spoken about this kind of like interactions that women and men have with the compliments and all that. So, thank you guys for joining me today. Is there any like final words that you guys want to get out before we go? No?
I was
Are we
just going to
good?
quickly say thank you for the conversations you guys do have with the network. And I do appreciate these conversations that invite in people and we all have respectful conversation. Even if we don't always agree on everything, just being respectful. It's legit. I like it.
Yeah, I love when we have mature people. And this panel, like even when we had everyone else with us, this has been a great panel. I don't know. The panels that we have are always really good and with informative, intelligent people who like have a good input. I love it. And we don't talk over each other. We're not rude to one another. We're not insulting. And we're not calling each other stupid because we don't agree. I like it. I like it so much and I'm enjoying it. Thank you guys for joining me on this live stream about compliments and why you should not call her beautiful. And with that, I yield our time. Bye bye, guys.
Good night.